I served in the Army in the Mekong Delta in 1969. I'm part of Veterans Foreign Wars. I'm also a member of the Vietnam Veterans of America, Chapter 928. Well, one of my main goals is to go ahead and thank the veterans that I see. When I returned from Vietnam, there were no parades, there were no thank yous. It was sort of a tough time for a lot of Vietnam veterans. So I decided that this trip, I was going to go ahead and thank veterans by giving them an embroidered star that I would cut off an old American flag. So I have these and I want to give them and thank them for their service, let them know how valuable it was to our country. You know, a lot of times I'll see maybe they're wearing a hat that shows they were in the armed forces. Maybe I'll just walk up to and ask if they were a veteran, and sometimes we'll find out that they are, or that they have a close family member. And if so, I give it to them and I ask them to go ahead and pass it on and tell that family member or friend how much it meant to me. So that's sort of my personal goal, to give them thanks for their service. American Legions, VFWs, Boy Scouts, anybody that wants to retire a flag that's already torn and tattered, it's time to go ahead, recycle it. So instead of sitting around doing some things, I might cut these flags out, and then I put a little saying on the back of each one. There's a little note, and basically the notes say, I'm part of an American flag. I've flown over a home in the U.S. I can no longer fly. The sun and the winds have caused me to be tattered and torn, and carry me as a reminder that you're not forgotten. You know, it's a small part of my personal goal to thank veterans, but also as part of the VVA, we do high school presentations to talk about the Vietnam era. It's not covered enough in our schools, and it's an important, turbulent time that really needs to be talked about. In the Chicago area, we've probably done over 300 presentations to juniors. That's when they cover the U.S. history. And so we talk about some of the things that really changed the peace movement at the time, the opposition to the war, some of the things that they need to know, the draft. We talk about how it was and how difficult it was to be drafted. So those things are important for them to know, because they're going to be the voters of tomorrow. They're the ones that are going to make the decision to be the leaders. They need to know how veterans were treated then, and now to treat them better now and thank them for their service. Part of the effort of a lot of the Vietnam veterans was to go ahead and make sure that the Afghan, Iraq veterans are welcome home. And now the kids see that. So in fact, the motto of the veterans of Vietnam Veterans of America is never again will one generation of veterans abandon another. And now that kids see how we're welcoming home servicemen, now they feel that obligation and learn from it, I think. So yes, it's better than it was during Vietnam, and we're very glad of that. We have met some of the nicest people. We call them River Angels, and I had a friend who built me a paddle. John Reading made a beautiful wooden paddle, and as we meet all these nice people, we're having them sign it as River Angels. People that have helped us, brought us supplies, met with us, talked with us, told us about their lives, veterans, and it's become an important part of this whole trip. As for starting out, we stepped across the river, and it's just amazing to see some of the beauty that we have here in this country. So far, I think the Quad Cities is a fantastic place. I'm really glad that we're passing through here. I've heard so much about it, and I have a lot of friends here, so I'm anxious to visit more.